Good afternoon, everyone. I am Neha Behen, the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of RACL Geartech Ltd. On behalf of the company, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to this post-results conference call for the third quarter of the financial year 2024-25. I will be your moderator for today's session. Before we begin, I would like to make a few important announcements. Please note that this conference call may include forward-looking statements based on the company's current beliefs, opinions, and expectations. These statements are not a guarantee of future performance and are subject to various risks and uncertainties, which may cause actual results to differ. Additionally, all participant lines will be on mute during the presentation, and we will have a question-answer session at the end of the presentation, where you can ask any question you may have. If you need any assistance during the call, you can submit your questions via the question answer box or raise your hand as per the available options on the screen, and we will assist you accordingly. Please be informed that this call is being recorded. We are pleased to be joined today by the management team of RACL Geartech Ltd, represented by Mr. Gurcharan Singh, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Jitendra Jain, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Prabh Mehar Singh, Vice President, Finance and Business Excellence. With that, I now invite Mr. Gurcharan Singh for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Hello, friends, hello, investors. First of all, a very good afternoon in the spring season. Because most of you are from Mumbai, so definitely you must be still getting the hot weather, but we are enjoying lovely weather from Delhi, and thanks to weather god, we have a clean air. Otherwise, Delhi is always choked with pollution. But yes, these are good things. Springtime is coming in, so really it is setting up a tone for a good future. And it's really, as Neha said, it's our pleasure to interact with you and give the updates for performance so far and the way forward. So of course, in coming slides, Rob and JJ will explain you in more details. But I will only say, yes, we had a very resilient performance for last 2-3 quarters. But yes, we are now back on track, and things are really started looking up despite of all the global headwinds and all such things. But yes, India is poised for a good way forward, and RACL per se, we are on the right track, and we have already shared some of the forward-looking numbers for budgeting for next year, and we are now gearing up ourselves to prepare our company to now back to our original growth plans, which we were always planning for the coming years, for the previous years, and of course for coming years now. The growth trajectory is going to be again on the same waves. But definitely let's first go through the presentation, and then after that we can deliberate during our Q&A session. And I take the opportunity to welcome all of you persons once again in this quarterly discussions and interaction with all of you. Yes. Thank you. Over to you and JJ, you and Prabh.
So good afternoon, everyone. This is Jitendra Jain, the CFO of the company. A warm welcome to everyone. I'll come to the presentation part first, and then we'll take up the questions further. So next. So this is our main slide. I think most of you are already aware of, but I'll just highlight few of the changes here. So with one of the things, we have been listed in last quarter, we have been listed on National Stock Exchange now. So we are listed on both these stock exchanges. We continue to be A- rated and all. And we have got a few new certifications as well, including TSEX and others, ISO certifications. So that has been put in here as an update. But rest everything is you all are already aware of. Next one. So I'll come to the quarterly performance for Q3 FY'25. In Q3, we clocked a turnover of close to 109.75 crores, out of which our exports were about 76.89 crores. Domestic business was 19.28 crores. Other operating income was 13.32 crores, and about 26 lakhs of other non-operating income. So that's the breakup of the total revenue for Q3, financial year 24-25. Next one. So our segment is changing a bit. So now around 70% of our turnover is exports, and around 30% is a domestic business now. This slide is basically quarterly performance, a comparison of quarter performance. So if I talk about Q3, we clocked a turnover of 109.75 crores, which is a growth of close to 4% as compared to Q2. And on EBITDA level, we clocked a EBITDA of about close to 25 crores, which is about 12.6% higher than Q2, which was 22.27 crores. And on PBT level, we clocked a PBT of 10.24 crores, which is a jump of about close to 52% as compared to 6.75 crores of Q2 24-25. This is a 9-monthly performance basically. So we clocked a turnover of 321 crores as compared to 308 crores of same period last year. So which is a growth of about 4.3%. At EBITDA level, we clocked a EBITDA of close to 70 crores as compared to around 77 crores same period last year, which is a drop of about 10%. And PBT level, we clocked a PBT of about 25.42 crores as compared to close to 42 crores last year same period, which is a drop of over 40%. This is the quarterly performance Q3 YOY comparison. So Q3 this year we clocked a turnover of 109.75 crores as compared to 115 crores of Q3 last year, which is a drop of about 5%. At EBITDA level, we clocked a EBITDA of 25 crores as compared to 29 crores of same period last year, which is a drop of about close to 14%. And we clocked a PBT of 10.24 crores as against around 17 crores last year, which is a drop of about 39% for Q3 YOY. So this is the profitability comparison which we always share with our friends. So one thing which I want to highlight first of all here is that despite the hindrances and all, which is more because of the global economic scenario and the Indian economic scenario and all, your company has been able to sustain the EBITDA margins in the range of 21 to 24% and all. Of course, there has been a slight drop and all, but as we always maintain that our business model, because of the diversity of the products, diversity of the clients, and the value addition which we do, we have been able to sustain EBITDA margins in the range of 21 to 24% quarter on quarter, and as compared to last year's and all. But basically the difference of EBITDA as compared to Q3 of last year and as compared to 9 months of last year and all. So that's the breakup of difference which has come because of the profit, because of which there is a drop in EBITDA. So consumption of raw material from Q3, a drop of 1.1% and 0.73% as compared to 9 months of last year, because our product mix is changing. So as we have been maintaining, our product mix is shifting from a two, is not shifting, but our four-wheeler, our passenger car business and our commercial vehicle business is increasing. So more especially in commercial vehicle business, the raw material component is on a higher side as compared to a two-wheeler and the passenger car vehicle business. On the employee benefit expenses, as we were targeting a higher turnover for this year and all, of course, all hirings and all were already done at the beginning of the year. And unfortunately, the corresponding growth hasn't been coming because of the economic scenario. So that is why employee benefit expenses have been slightly on a higher side as compared to similar period last year. And finance cost and depreciation, we have already explained in our last calls as well, that obviously the finance, the overall borrowing and all was already done, and the capex was already done. So depreciation and finance as a percentage as compared to similar period last year has been slightly on a higher side. On the manufacturing expenses and all, a bit of here and there, but as we have already explained, there are steps which we have already started, which we had already started taking in last 3 quarters and all. So that has now started showing results and all. So if you see our manufacturing expenses overall has come down in Q3 as compared to the Q3 of last year and all. But yes, on an overall 9-month level and all, still we need to catch up on that. And there's a little bit of increase on the overall other expenses which are there. So that's the broad explanation of difference between EBITDA and the PBT margins. So I'll come to the business updates. I'll request Prab to take this.
Yeah. So thanks, JJ. Numbers, of course, were always known, but it's good to repeat. On the current and the future updates, so of course, KTM is a much talked about customer, and of course, that is good in the long run. Maybe they are getting their own marketing without doing anything. So of course, the background for this is KTM is one of the core customers for us, was facing some financial difficulty because of reasons best known to them. So there was a certain indication or a decline in their output because they had high unsold inventory of their motorcycles, which resulted in certain disruptions at our end as well. Though these trends were being witnessed since early last year, that is why we as a supplier also discounted those trends in our projections when we revised in the middle of the year. There was ambiguity on what lies ahead for them, but the good thing is, of course, all these disclosures are available on their websites and their stock exchange filings. But what we have known and received as a communication so far, that all is good now. I think they have the restructuring already agreed with the court. They have to, of course, take care of their payments in next 3 months with their creditors. But what is encouraging is they have announced that they will be back to full swing production by March this year. And of course, we have started receiving discussions and preparedness to be given to KTM. Of course, there were many suppliers who were affected higher than us. So there might be certain delays in resuming because of that. But from our side, we are, of course, buzzing and raring to go. So that is a good news in terms of what we have received from our customer. It will start showing in our results maybe a quarter, 2 quarters later, because there is, of course, a huge inventory which is with them already, and then inventory of motorcycles. But what is encouraging to read is their retail sales has not declined. So their overall inventory built up, which was around 200,000. Again, these are public numbers, can be wrong also. From November to now, they have sold, I think, 55,000 of that. So they've reduced. So dealers are selling bikes at a good pace. Customers are not shaking in terms of their confidence in the brand. And of course, they are doing many restructurings within. So for us, this is very encouraging, because so far, whatever projections we have given, the turnover of 525 crores, plus minus 5 for this year, we took KTM at a discounted rate, in the sense we didn't anticipate higher growth, which we will maintain the same. Anything which is additional is a bonus for us. So we are hoping that we also do well once KTM resumes operations and the scare part is over, even if it was. Of course, now it will take time to just balance out and things start moving.
Just to add what you said, KTM is participating in MotoGP as usual. And it's a very hyped out event in the world, and they are participating into the project.
And of course, KTM being a Bajaj company, as a shareholder, Bajaj is also showing encouraged signs of investment. So they have invested as a loan, I think around 50 million US dollars, euros. And they are also, I think,
another 100 million euro.
Yeah, so their funds are tied up. So that's an encouraging sign. So it's good to hear good news is coming from Europe. Yeah, so this was on the KTM. Now, of course, a couple of things which were done in the last quarter. So we are pleased to inform, of course, we've already disclosed that the new plant for the BMW electric car project was inaugurated officially by a senior BMW team from India. It was inaugurated in the middle of February. So the plant is now operational for HVL, what is the first stage after the initial protos. So we are now giving parts to BMW off tool in the sense from the production tooling, and off process in the sense production process. As a principle, when you work with OEMs, of course, their start of production will be next year, 26, end of 26. But the sampling starts year and a half early. But the sampling always has to be from the serial process and the serial tooling, because this is considered as a safe launch period wherein all the learnings should be then incorporated by the all supplier base. So that has started. This plant will now do sampling for next 1.5 years. Of course, sampling volumes are less, but sampling prototyping costs are very minimum. What is value addition is the engineering and the logistics effort. So for that, we always believe that helps us for short-term profitability. So a lot of prototyping is happening. That is why you see in this quarter's performance, we see a good profitability. So when the prototyping of new projects happen, that phase always helps to earn good profits out of it, because customers are willing to spend extra money on the prototyping because there are a lot of precautions. There are high rejection rates, so maybe we are checking at a higher inspection frequency. So all that leads to higher value addition, which in turn leads to higher margins, because we cost all of that during the prototyping phase. So this plant is, of course, fully green in the sense run on green electricity. It is around 20,000 square feet, the area. It will run in, as of now, one shift. Though we have all the processes already commissioned, there are a lot of processes at sub-supplier end also being starting. So as a supply chain, everything is ready to support BMW on their prototyping. Prototyping at BMW is also going at a good pace. You might be reading or seeing a lot of videos on their social media platforms on this buzz of the electric new sports car which they're launching. So that is encouraging to see that customer is also spending a lot of effort, money, and time on this product. So we are very motivated to work on such a prestigious project. Thanks. This is another addition we did early this year. So this is again a very important and a strong project for us. We have been eyeing US market for some time. We have been wanting to increase our presence in the chassis of the car, in the other components of the car other than engine or anything else. So we are pleased to inform you that we have been nominated for prototyping of steering components. So our customer ZF, who has a joint venture with RANE, is going to launch electric power steering system. How an electric power steering system is different from a conventional hydraulic system is the steering system has its own gearbox. So basically the motor gives the assist to the driver, and in hydraulics, the pump gives the assistance. Of course, that is now being replaced with the new, ADAS and driver safety features. So the user should have as minimal load on his arms. That is the idea, putting an electric motor into it. Wherever there is a motor, there are gear ratios which needs to be adjusted. So for that, there is a entire gearbox within the steering system. This is being developed for an American OEM, which is one of the biggest in US. They have a category called pickup platforms. So these are pickup trucks, what they call it, but they are pass cars only, and it is one of the highest selling product for them. Good thing is this is into the ICE, which is the combustion engine. So there are no hesitations or waiting time for volumes to pick up. Customer will just switch from a hydraulic steering system to electronic power steering system. In 2027 middle is, I think, production starting at the customer end, in the sense the OEM end. And of course, we should start much before. Right now, of course, it is a prototyping starting. We have to submit some protos middle of May to ZF. ZF will then do the integration, and then it will go to the OEM. Again, this is very good in the short run because prototyping, as we said, involves good margins so that we will enjoy in the next year. And this will, put us to the roadmap of 1,000 crore journey, which we are eyeing in next few years. So this is, if I can call it, one of the game changers for us, because BMW car is definitely a big achievement, but this is equally big because now this is steering systems. We so far are not in steering systems. And if we are able to co-develop these parts, the technology of the gears and the housings is the unique USP which we enjoy. So I'm sure a lot of other leaders in this steering systems would follow. Next. Apart from pass cars, we are also growing, adding new projects in the two-wheeler segment, which is our main as of now. So we recently were nominated by BMW Motorrad for a shifting mechanism. So this shifting mechanism basically is installed in a two-wheeler. I don't know the exact engine size.
It is a
1200.
It is a 1 liter.
1 liter.
It's a new successor. The version is they call it R1000.
Yeah.
But in this I'll give more details.
Yeah.
This motorbike BMW is developing with auto shifting mechanism. So like typically in passenger cars we have automatic transmissions. Now it is a automatic shifting in gear means motorcycle also. So typically we were a gear making company. Now this time we got nominated for this. It's a technically kind of diversification. So this is shifting mechanism for this particular model, both for auto shifting and for manual shifting. So picture on the left is for a part which will go into auto shifting mechanism. Picture on the right will go into the bike with manual shifting mechanism. In parallel, BMW is developing this for their main bread and butter model. This is R1300. So that also is under advanced stage of discussions for. And this is actually going to be a kind of diversification for us.
And good thing in this is, shifting auto is, of course, you see in scooters also. But the point is, either it is auto or manual. These new technologies can make the ride. If the rider does not want to change gears, he can run on auto in a motorcycle. If he likes to have, maybe as a thrill wants to do shifting manually, he can do that. So this is being launched for the first time in a BMW motorcycle. And of course, the competitors should follow. So it is always, wherever new technologies come, groundbreaking, revolving, we are always involved, because the criticality and the fit to function becomes more difficult. And that is where we come into picture always, because that is our niche.
And again, here also we are involved from the technically pre-proto stage. Even protos also have to be, we are involved as a concurrent engineering concept. Because both design teams of customer and our company, they are sitting together to freeze the manufacturable design so that the customer knows what he needs and we know what is the best way to produce it on a most cost efficient manner. So this is a kind of concurrent engineering which we are doing. Then eventually drawings are being frozen and the next stage is the proto. So here in this project, we are even involved prior to proto stage. It's a concurrent development stage. Yeah. And then, of course, we got nomination for mass production also for this part. Yes.
Another new nomination. So, of course, we are very proud to share that TVS now has acquired a British motorcycle iconic brand Norton. Norton is also a high-performance motorcycle manufacturer in England from, I think, 1930s or 40s. TVS is investing huge money to make this brand mass volume in the super segment. And we, of course, were the preferred choice when TVS decided to shift certain manufacturing of the components of these motorcycles to India. We have been nominated for the entire drivetrain. Anything which is moving in that bike is in terms of gears and shafts will be made by us. The gearbox assembly, the shifting gears, apart from sprockets, I think everything will be done by us. Norton is right now not projecting high volumes, but we have indications from TVS that once this is picked up, things are streamlined, it should increase to what they have nominated and budgeted. The sampling is already ongoing. We have already submitted initial samples, and the testing of the motorcycle will start, I think, in this next 3 to 4 months. And by end of this year, the commercial production should start. So early next year, we should have these also getting into our kitty.
And this is also a 1.2 liter motorcycle. And this is typically a V4 cylinder engine, one of its unique engine in motorcycle industry. Normally, passenger cars are using V engines. Motorcycles normally don't use V engines. It's a 4-cylinder engine. And TVS is really developing with great new features into this motorbike.
So just to add one point on this, our relationship with TVS started with BMW only 4 years back. That relationship has gone really positive. So far, they are very happy with the products and the supply we are giving. We actually were given an option. We were given as a source. TVS shifted out of China to India. So it is very difficult for any company to source product cheaper than China within India. So that is how it all started. With this BMW TVS project going in, we now have started to work with Norton, but TVS itself also is discussing many new projects because, there is an aspirational with all OEMs, Indian OEMs to enter themselves into the...
Oh, in fact, rather I'll add, TVS already has launched a motorcycle in Auto Expo, this Bharat Mobility Show now.
Yeah.
And in fact, today is 6th March, 8th of March, they are formally inaugurating their new facility at Mysore. And mass production now is starting from 8th March for a motorcycle which was launched 2 months back. It's around 450cc motorbike and basically being launched under TVS brand for domestic market. So that way our relationship with TVS in domestic market for TVS brand is also now.
I was wanting to add that they are now aspiring to grow in the premium segment.
Premium segment.
In the commuter, okay, whatever they are doing, though now they have surpassed Hero MotoCorp as well. Now they are number 2 in terms of volume, but premiumness is where they don't want to use, at least on the face, existing supplier base. So for the premium, they are very much discussing many big projects because this is one thing which we want to, or we are witnessing, that India is getting ready for the next league of, products which are more quality conscious, who are more thrill driven. You can see even in the OEM car makers like Mahindra and Tata, the kind of cars they are launching are not how they were 5-6 years back, because people's willingness to invest or spend on luxury products, on performance products, because it's a young country, is increasing. That is why, again, I won't name the OEM, but one of the largest also approached us, other than TVS, for their super motorcycle, which they want to launch, tie up with an American motor brand, maybe in early next year. So again, when the premiumness comes in, we become the preference supplier for a lot of these two-wheeler manufacturers. So we are getting good positive response from the experiences and the relationship we have had in the past, because our product was always low volume, moderate, because they were, special performance products, so being sold in Europe or developed economies. Now India is growing, so we are getting good domestic, good margin customers, domestic only, showing interest in such products. Next. Yeah, JJ, I think
Yeah,
you can
I'll
explain
take
this one.
So thanks, Prab. Thanks, sir. So as I've shared, we are happy to share that we are listed on National Stock Exchange of India. Our listing happened on 27th of November 2024, and same day we had got the trading approval as well. So now we are listed on both the recognized stock exchanges in India. It was a matter of pride. We had a formal bell ringing ceremony at NSE Mumbai, and the formal bell ringing was done by CMD Mr. Gosharan Singh, and one of our longest serving worker of RACL, Mr. Pawan Kumar. So we did the formal bell ringing ceremony to both of them, and I hope now with this listing and all, it will be beneficial to our all investors friend. It will give more visibility and better efficiency and transparency, and of course the better volumes. The results have already started showing. Our daily average trading volume on NSE has increased to more than 3 times than the average trading volume on BSE from the date of listing.
In fact, I must give this credit to our investors, because some of our investors suggested that we must get it listed on NSE. So you guys inspired us. So thanks to you all, and we are now proudly we are listed for the stock exchange. Yeah.
These are the few awards and recognitions which we have got in last quarter. So we were awarded by a renewable energy champion by CII Northern Region Green Practices Award. We were recognized for outstanding efforts and contribution towards renewable energy, sustainable practice, and environmental conservation. It's one of the very prestigious recognition. And as we have shared that being a component supplier to predominantly overseas, we are focused and are for us focusing on green energy and green practices. Green and sustainable practice have been always our core strength, and good that it has been recognized by CII. We also got the gold rating in manufacturing category. It was again awarded by CII National 5S Excellent Rating. We were recognized for excellence in manufacturing practices. Again, apart from the manufacturing practices, with more emphasis on cleanliness, organization, standardization, which we follow in our overall work culture and the processes. It obviously improves productivity and lead to better efficiency in our overall working environment. We were happy that we were recognized. We featured in January 2025 edition of UP Invest newsletter, which is published by Government of UP organization. It was an acknowledgement for our significant contributions to the industrial and to the local employment and the industrial growth and economic development of the state of Uttar Pradesh. We also got the NABL accreditation, which is awarded for our compliance with ISO IEC 17205 2017. We achieved the prestigious NABL accreditation, which validating our adherence to all international standards for the laboratory testing. So these were the recognitions and awards which your company has received in Q3. I think with this, we are done with this. So thanks a lot, friends, for hearing us patiently. So over to you, Nick.
I think we can start with pre-registered questions. No? So is Ayush Mittal on?
So we'll start with the pre-registered questions.
I'll see. Is Ayush on?
Yes, please see.
मैं allow करता हूँ. Ayush, I unmute you. I hope you are the same Ayush Mittal who sent us questions. Ayush, you can unmute yourself and ask question. Maybe it's the other Ayush. Huh? You,
No, Ayush Mittal is there.
No, he's not there. Okay, leave it. Okay, then we can take questions from the.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, I'll do that. We can start with Mr. Sanjeev Marwa. I'm unmuting you, Mr. Marwa. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, please. Mr. Marwa.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for giving the opportunity. Before I ask my questions, first of all, big congratulations to the entire team of RACL Geartech, on all these recent prestigious wins/associations, as you presented in this slide. And it's really heartening to see a small company adding so significant value and being part of breakthrough technologies across auto sector when even globally. So a big congratulations to all of you for working so hard and really getting the name of the company right there. My question is more with respect to the ongoing geopolitical events, and the evolving geopolitical situation, what we are seeing in terms of the threats of reciprocal tariffs, etc., being announced left, right, center, by Donald Trump. And he has been very vocal about auto sector specifically in terms of the import duty for high-end premium, segment, be it two-wheelers or four-wheelers. So just wanted to understand management's take, if they see any threat or any early signs, if this could impact our business, etc. And more importantly, how are you really tracking this and any potential impact on your internal budgets, etc. So if you could just give us some sense on how you are seeing all of this, and given we are of course an export oriented company, so wanted to really get your views on how do you see this geopolitical situation evolving.
I'll answer you. First of all, we are too small to comment on to such big topics happening across the world, where all the big economies, starting from US to China to EU, are involved. But if we really take a very holistic and very optimistic view, India we have 1.4 billion people. 20% population of the world lives in India. So eventually we are a consumer's economy. No country, irrespective it's the US or EU, can live without India. Because India is a large economy. Many times these geopolitical things, on surface it is different, and reality things are different. On one side, yes, US is threatening, but on the other side, EU, European Union, is pleading to India to form a FTA.
Right.
So, there is always a very common saying that if one doors are open, closing 100 different doors open. First of all, again, as I said, that we are too small to comment on this, but you can understand our commerce minister is sitting in the US. And in fact, yesterday, late evening, there was some news item that India is really finding out some ways and means to find out methodologies to avoid these reciprocal tariffs and all. But sorry to comment on this. Like, to be very honest, President of US is also very kind of wavering kind of thing. Therefore, yesterday he is announcing tariffs on Canada, and
yesterday he has paused for a month.
Yeah, it is deferred for 1 month, because in fact, USMCA is a very strong legally binding agreement. So no country can really get away with those agreements without thing. I personally feel it is more of a rhetoric and less of the ground reality. But definitely, nothing is RACL specific. It is actually a, and I'd say it's not a geopolitical, it is a global discussion. Because I tell you, it's not between two countries, it is for the entire world. So eventually, if this happens, because he, to be very honest, he's not putting only tariffs on Mexico or Canada. He's putting tariffs on China, he's putting tariffs on EU. So we are also not very sure that is he really going to increase his inflation by 25% or what? Because US is largely an importing economy. So technically speaking, things will settle down within few days. But coming back to your question, how we are mitigating, first of all, our main business is into the motorcycle business. Whatever US is talking is more of, actually, I tell you, he's trying to push PAS cars into India at zero duty. It's nothing more than that. So, incidentally, for PAS cars, we are very, very safeguarded because our product is being supplied to PAS cars in Europe. So, technically, and incidentally, our customer is BMW. And BMW has a big manufacturing plant in US. So, that way, we are that way safe. And I personally feel things will settle down because our main business is in two-wheeler category. And US is not having any base for two-wheeler except Harleys. And on Harley, our own Prime Minister has already announced reduction of duties from 150% to now, I think, 70%. Or maybe in coming days, he will reduce to 30%. But there was some news that was here and there. So that way, our risks are fully mitigated. On agricultural machinery and all, we are exporting to Japan. And domestic market, Japan is totally safe for us. So, because around 20% of our business, 15-20% goes to Japanese market for Kubota and all. 30% is our domestic business. So, our exports to US are, as on today, are hardly 1 or 2%. So, I don't think there is any such global topic. But leave aside this discussion, I personally feel these things will settle down within a few weeks because I think there are some hidden agendas which people are trying to settle by those threats. Because, tariffs cannot be really implemented this way. Because to be very honest, President of US wants to promote manufacturing in his country. Manufacturing cannot be shifted overnight. So really, I feel there are some hidden things. It will settle down in coming days, yeah.
Sure. And so one last factual question. How much of our, can I say that majority of our exports are mostly in Europe?
Yeah,
And Japan.
Our US business is only 2-3%. Majority business is in Europe and Japan.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Now I will unmute Mr. Vedant Bhasin. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
All right, great. So, firstly, congratulations on winning a bunch of nice deals. Specifically on the BMW, what you had put in your filings as well, that the whole deal size on the electric sports car would be about in the range of 520 crores, and the peak would be in 2029 at 130, if I'm not wrong. Can you tell me what the ramp up would be like for that over the next few years, or will it mostly come in 28? Basically, the next few years, how the ramp up will be.
As we explained in the filings also, the commercial production is starting in financial year 27. So 27, 28 is about 30-40% of the peak volumes. Then 27, 28, 29 is around 60-70%. And 29, 30 is, because they always work calendar year and ours are 6 months below. So it is going 26 is starting. The first year will be maybe say 20%. These are broad numbers, but then within 2 years it will go to the peak, and then for next 3-4 years it always remains at a peak level.
Understood. All right. And secondly, I just wanted some sort of insight into how the CV business is going in Europe. How has that been shaping up? Because I think there was good growth recently. I just want to know your outlook on that.
Yeah, you touched very rightly. In fact, we already got very, very encouraging forecast. In fact, only a couple of weeks back, we got official communication from one of our largest customers in Europe. They have increased their production for the commercial trucks from March onwards. So obviously, these are good signs, and our orders and takeoffs have already started improving. Yes, your information is correct.
Okay, and if you can sort of maybe quantify next few years, what kind of growth we'll see over there, if that's possible at all.
No, we've given the indication. We have already projected 525 for this year, plus minus 5. And of course, 1 year is projected, budgeted. Can be, you can say the numbers we don't disclose, but plan is to reach 1,000 as early as we can.
Yeah.
Sure. And just one last question.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, please continue.
No, I was just saying that from 2025 onwards, Europe has already started giving good numbers, and 2026 onwards, their own projections are that it will be growing pretty fast. And particularly commercial vehicles, although many a times these geopolitical things open up new vistas also, because Europe which was laid back in creating in their defense systems, so will work very fast on creating defense system. And incidentally, commercial vehicles have a very, very strong application to defense system, because our customer is one of the largest supplier to the defense vehicles. So eventually the volume projection is forecast much better in coming years. Yeah.
Sure, understood. And just one last question, if you can maybe throw some color on Japan, how Kubota has been doing, what the outlook is on that basically.
It's doing pretty good. In fact, Kubota has already acquired Escorts also in India, and now it is nothing, it's all a public information. Kubota is now at the verge of putting up a new factory in state of Uttar Pradesh, because they have already signed some MOU with government of UP, and of course, we all are waiting for it. And Kubota is, because these are again our own business projections, Kubota is started producing harvester combines in India, because the latest indications are that Kubota, after this takeover from Escorts in India, they have big plans to make India as a global hub for their production. So I'll say, apart from Japan, Indian business of Kubota will also grow very strongly, and we are already present with Escorts Kubota in India also. Because our good thing is that we are associated with Kubota for last 21 years. So wherever they are, we are the preferred supplier. So now Japan plus India will be a very, very good potential for growth. And this new line of business, harvester combines, Kubota, if you really know this product very well, Kubota is world's second largest small tractor manufacturer. So, and in harvester combine, they are actually leaders into the small harvester combines and rice transplanters. Because, being in Japan, they always create miniature versions. And in Indian land holdings are not so big. So to be very honest, these combines are the rice transplanters which they are going to produce now in India. So it will have good potentials for us to grow. Of course, our best wishes for our customer to grow these new lines of business in India as well as global business.
All right, great. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
I'm unmuting Mr. Ramani. If you can unmute yourself and ask question, please. Mr. Dev Chandra Ramani.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So my first question,
Yes, please go
just
on.
a minute. Yeah, my first question is on our revenue projection regarding FY'26. So in FY'26, we are projecting 525 crores, which would be around 20% on FY'25. Now, when I'm looking at your business, so that's 30% domestic and rest 70 exports. And typically within the domestic business, we have been growing at around 5%. So now if I'm reconciling the numbers in exports account, we have to grow by around 25-30% to match the numbers which we are forecasting. Can you explain from which accounts we are expecting this kind of growth within export markets? So basically, I'm just trying to understand what would be driving this growth in the export market.
No, so this growth which will come will not be entirely dependent on exports. As I explained, the business is growing in domestic as well. For example, TVS is projecting huge numbers. There are some new projects which will start with them early next year. Second, of course, our exports, as I said, commercial trucks is showing encouraging signs. Growth will come from that segment. Then, of course, as you know, we are also working with Piaggio Group since 30 years now. But Piaggio earlier, let's say, was three-wheeler more centric in India. But now they've launched that Aprilia brand with RS457. They also have Moto Guzzi brand. So all these new projects we bagged last year only, which we disclosed. Now they are coming in the ramp-up phase, and their motorcycle is doing really well because in the domestic motorcycle segment, in the premium, if you track Aprilia, they're doing huge numbers, good response is coming in. So there the growth is budgeted. Of course, there are certain projects which within the existing customers, certain prototypings, we don't disclose everything which we bag. There are many projects which just start. So our customer BRP has some many new projects which are starting to Austria, Mexico, and Canada. So it is a mix of both exports and domestic. Then there are many customers which we considered as where volumes are less but variety is higher. So for example, SML Isuzu is a school bus manufacturer in India. They were always showing okay numbers. Now they are also showing good numbers. So that has been accounted for. There is a customer called General Electric G. They also are showing some good growth. So we have 22 customers. So all of them are showing growth. So that is how this 20-25% is projected. KTM, right now, we have not taken any encouraging growth numbers. So even if some of them who are projecting don't grow what they are saying, so that hedging will be taken care by KTM's growth, which we are calculating will come in middle of this next financial year. So this is how we have planned this sales plan. And we do this very diligently. So far in the last 6 years, our projections have never failed. We have delivered what we have committed. Barring this year, because this was unprecedented, as you know, one of the customer went into financial difficulty. So, there were two wars being fought. So that way, be rest assured, whatever numbers we give are not fancy numbers. They are backed by judicious planning, projections. And of course, it's a pass-on number. Whatever customers project, we discount it, and then we put it. And that is how we have always maintained these projections when we give.
Okay, just to understand it better, would it be safe to assume that our growth within domestic markets and exports market would be more or less equal? So we are forecasting around 20% growth in FY'26. What I'm saying is that within domestic market as well, would we be growing at 20%?
It will not be 50-50, it can be 70-30 or 60-40, but yes, it will not be that export will grow 80%, domestic will only grow 5%, not like that. Both, because this was something which, again, as a strategically, you all have been, highlighting that, okay, you are an Indian company, you are an export oriented, but why are you missing the opportunity in the domestic market? And we always said the domestic market is not ready for us because the kind of product we do, the quality, we're an expensive supplier. Every customer says that. So the affordability of the customer is also an option, is a point. Now they all are launching these premium, high performance segments, which are encouraging them to work with suppliers like us. And this is part of the growth journey. From 20 to 25, we grew at a certain rate. Now, next leg of growth, domestic will be an important segment for us.
Okay, and just to understand your domestic business better, can you talk about what kind of customers we are catering into the domestic market? And if you can give some highlights on, let's say, maybe our top three or top four accounts, that would really help.
Yes. So of course, in the domestic, as I said, TVS is going to be a good customer for us in coming years. Piaggio will grow. There are a couple more which we can't disclose because they're still not agreed. This ZF Rane will be a domestic business, though it will be exported out of India by Rane, but it will be a domestic business for us. There is another company which we are discussing, which we can't disclose as of now. They are also were making certain products in China. Now they want to make in India, and then they want to export that as a assembly to Europe. So though it will be a domestic for us, but eventually it will go to Europe. So many such projects at European quality, but Indian pricing are being now shifted to India, and that is where our domestic trend will increase. But having said that, it is not that we're shifting our focus back to domestic. Domestic is something which we are putting through our efforts. Export is what we get by the word of mouth because we have established a good name. So that is how these both segments will grow.
Okay. And can you talk us a bit about CapEx plans for next 2 or 3 years?
I think that we already disclosed in the.
That is disclosed in our last board meeting outcome.
That is in the public domain. You can of course check with that. Good. So
okay, I'll check that. Now coming to
can we have
joint development which you are doing with ZF Rane, can you explain our commercial terms with them? So would we be just participating in the prototyping or during the commercialization as well? Would we be generating some business out of it? So maybe if you can explain regarding our commercial terms with them, that would help.
Yes, sure. Can you hear me? Because you're speaking, you're not listening. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
So of course, this is not a prototyping only. We're not a prototyping company, but nothing comes without prototyping. So whatever business with ZF will be, will start from prototyping. And as the visibility comes in terms of the actual handover, but it's a project which will be starting in 27. So that is how the commercial terms as of now are. Good.
Okay.
So I will now.
And last question from my side.
Ramani, can you please,
that we are going to supply gear systems to TVS's new model launch. If you can talk a bit on the order size, that would be of great.
So, sorry, I had to mute you. Of course,
these specific details cannot be disclosed like this because which customer, what business specific details are, we are also bound by confidentiality. So we are not supposed to publish these numbers discreetly.
But I think we already answered most of your questions because there are others also raising hands. We can come back to you if anything is unanswered.
Maybe you can email, you can write to us here.
Okay, I'm unmuting now, Prateek. Jan. So, Mr. Jan, if you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Mr. Jan.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So, my first question is on the long-term basis, as a company, we go from 500 crores of top line to 1,000 crores of top line. What is your internal sense that of the PV mix, the passenger vehicle mix in the overall portfolio of RACL? So, any broad sense there that at what percentage it shall need to fire to, to get to that number?
In fact, we already disclosed this. It will be around 30 to 35%, around 30 odd percent.
25. But this is of course basis whatever visibility we have as of now.
Yeah. And so, second question is on the industry learning. So, typically what we have understood is sometimes, big the big OEMs, hesitate to give orders to a supplier despite his competencies just because of the overall top line, right? So there is a minimum threshold top line requirement for them also. So as a company, as we scale to a certain top line, do you believe that the flywheel effect will also help for us, or is it not the case for us?
I will answer you. Yeah, our company's performance, our company's customers contradict what you're saying. If numbers are an issue, companies like BMW and KTM and Kubota would have not been our customers, not for one day, for almost 20 years. As on today, we are having 22 global brands. So, OEM, irrespective as a BMW or Mercedes or any such thing, they will never evaluate the supplier based on numbers. They will evaluate the suppliers based on the performance. Is there suppliers, if your numbers are so small?
Profitability.
Turnover.
It is opposite, Pratik. If the turnover is too big, then I can take the customer. They don't like big suppliers.
So they always, numbers are never a benchmark for them. For them, importance is which supplier has competence in terms of quality. Quality is first, then delivery. And these days, the most biggest challenge with OEMs is they always want to work with those suppliers who have actually engineering skills, because world over now soft skills are getting more and more difficult, and India has a very big strength in the soft skills. When I say soft skills, with IT based skills, design skills. So suppliers want to work on this. And now latest buzz is sustainability, ESG compliance. So these are the now requirements for these customers. Revenue is never a number, because if revenue is a constraint, we would have been nowhere. Because in our company, competitors are purchasing from us. So that really shows our.
But one thing which they do track is the financial stability. They have very stringent credit rating, third-party checks. They don't like supplier to be financially unstable. So that is one thing which they always check. Turnover-wise, no, it's not a threshold.
Yeah.
Okay. And so my last question is, what is the current debt in our books, and if you can split it between term loans and working capital loan?
That's already disclosed in the balance sheet.
But this is disclosed in the balance.
Already balance sheet has all the details.
No, that's of 6, right? I just want for as of today.
As of today?
But as of 30th September,
No,
I mean,
as of 31st
December doesn't disclose because
30th September is disclosed.
But I mean, whatever the published numbers is, because the 30th September is the published number, and from that day till now, there has been repayments, and I mean, you may take it almost at a similar level.
Well, we'll disclose only because 30th September debts are already there.
31st March will disclose, but there's nothing.
But it's almost at the same level. No major changes in that.
Yeah.
Significant changes.
Okay. Thanks, sir. This is helpful.
But there is more Pratik. There are 2 Pratiks. One is Pratik Kumar.
Yogansh, we are unmuting you. Can you ask a question? I mean, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Yogansh, just
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity, and first of all, congratulations to you and the team for announcing such good project wins, and things seems to be coming back on track for us. So it's very exciting to see us back on the 1,000 crore journey. So, Professor, one clarification. Last con call we had discussed about Project Venus and Project Titan. Both were for BMW, right? And this time we have announced the inauguration of Udyam plant. So both of these projects are serviced from Udyam?
No, that's a good question. Only Titan will be done.
Only Titan will be serviced.
Okay. So
Project
Project Venus, we are like. Yeah, Project Titan is from Udyam, and Project Venus we will have to set up more.
Not set up. There are certain investments which will be going in for the common shed, but not since this is not a big investment in this project. It's a very small building, but there are certain internal investments which we have to do along the year to make, because we are now falling short of areas. So we have to build one more plant, there we can share like this ZF Rane, Venus. So we'll do multiple projects. We'll make up one big building this time. But that all will happen by end of this year because Venus will, though it will go to the same platform, but that was nominated later. So there the timeline's a bit later in the sense we have to deliver maybe 3 months, 6 months after this. Right.
Okay. Okay.
And that
so
was the
when you
time
say
they're awarding of both the projects.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you say platform, this would be specifically same model, right? Or will it be
Yes.
couple of models on the same
So as of now,
technology?
the clarity is model, but they will of course launch this into multiple platforms.
But they always have many variants.
They
Yeah.
have variants, maybe in a sports variant or a SUV that they will decide, but the platform is same.
No,
Understood. That's
actually, two are already disclosed. One is 2-wheel drive, one is 4-wheel drive. So,
I mean,
and
that is-
likewise, there may be many
Yeah.
variants. Yeah.
okay. Okay. And how much have we spent on capex in 9 months so far?
Yeah, these numbers we always will disclose when the annual results are there.
But I can answer that it is in the same line what we have disclosed, the planned capex for this financial year. It's in the similar lines and all, no changes in that.
Yeah.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough. And sir, one last question. So, as of September end balance sheet, both our inventory and receivables had inched up quite a bit. We do understand that some part of it must be because of the KTM issue and all that. So, directionally, where are we now? Is that trend on improvement, or are we still where we were at?
Other than KTM, everything is improving. KTM thing, as Prab already explained you now, since they are on back to recovery mode. So first step will be to liquidate the inventories. But yes, other than KTM, everything is better. You know, the stocks, receivables and stocks getting increased because of this Red Sea thing and little slowdown or reduction in demand at customers. And now those, as we already explained, things have started improving. So other than KTM, rest everything is now on the improvement mode.
Absolutely, sir. That's understandable. And I wish you and the team all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Prateek.
Okay, next is Prateek Kulkarni. Mr. Kulkarni, if you can unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Ji.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to ask, it's a bit a generic question, like what I have seen about this company is that we mostly cater to the premium, vehicles. And what I have seen in the past 5 years, let's say in the domestic Indian market, that in the auto cycles also there are, auto industry which goes through a cycle. There are segments in that too. Like in the last 3-4 years, premium vehicles were doing very good, and now the mass segment has started doing performing good. So is that the similar trend, a structure of the trend in the global market where there are cycles of the premium vehicles, and from your experience of almost 2-3 decades, where we are currently in that cycle, and what steps we are taking to get prepared for the future cycle, if there is?
I'll answer you. In global scenario, normally premium segment doesn't have too many of fluctuations. Actually, in COVID time, there was a sudden surge in premium segment. So otherwise, in European, American economies, premium buyers are those people who are actually super rich or extremely rich category. So their inflations or the cyclic things are not there. Incidentally, in COVID time, there was a huge surge in demand. Again, since whole of world was sitting at homes, so the best way for them was to spend on the luxury yachts or the luxury off-road vehicles or premium car and all that stuff, motorcycles. So, for last 1 year and all this stock correction was taking place. Because that surge actually is now wiped out. Technically, I will say, we always say recession or decline. No, it was not recession or not decline. It was actually in COVID time when there was this sudden surge. That surge has now been removed from the system. Technically now, luxury segment or premium segment has come back to technically pre-COVID levels. And now some inventory corrections like this KTM thing happened. Nothing went wrong with KTM. Only thing is that they were producing like a madhouse. We were also a little surprised that why they are producing so many bikes. But now they realize that the demand has come back to the level. So now they had to really cut down this production and all such stuff. And remaining customers or remaining manufacturers were more smarter. They already cut down production so that they did not end up in inventory pileups. But obviously, we also had to take a stock correction, and that is the reason that this year of FY'25 was generally a kind of flattish for us. To be very honest, if KTM was there, we would also grown, still grown. But despite almost zero sale for last 6 months in KTM, we are still maintaining almost same numbers. But it really reflects that in reality, European sales or American sales in luxury segment has not declined. So, and I personally feel this will cyclically keep on happening. And to be very honest, same is going to happen in Indian segment also. When this premium segment will really go stable in India, this will not be fluctuating too many. Because these fluctuations happen generally in lower segment where there are actually lower middle class or the upper middle class people will use. Because since we are present in premium and luxury segment, there I don't feel there is much such challenges.
Okay, sir. Thank you for such a detailed answer. And one last thing I would be asking that let's say that now the inventories are getting corrected in the at the client side. So is there any client's way to consolidate their suppliers where they focus only on the suppliers which they have been partnered throughout the years, like RACL Geartech has. So is there, a chance to gain some market share with the clients in that area?
I'll answer you in a slightly different way because, for the product which we are already producing, of course, demand is less, they will pick up less. If demand is more, they'll pick up more. But to answer you, like in European countries, since inflation was too heavy in past 2 years, so many suppliers, the cost of manufacturing is going up in Europe. Rather, that's the reason we showed today in our presentation, we got some diversification for those auto shifting, forks, and all such assemblies. They were typically purchasing this stuff from Europe. Now they are looking beyond Europe and is coming to India. So this is a kind of a positive outcome or positive side effect, I will say, from this kind of slowdown or inventory corrections happened in last year. But for the current production, if I am the supplier, I will always remain. Likewise, if there are other suppliers, they will remain. But for new models, yes, of course, new opportunities will always come in a positive way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, last question, Mr. Shah.
Yeah, hi. First of all, congratulations on so many order wins. I joined a few minutes late, but any update on the 100 crore fundraise that you're planning to do? Which mode of funding will we go for, and any timelines there?
Our money man will answer. Yeah, Prab will answer.
Yeah. So of course, Mr. Shah, we are actively looking for fundraising options. As we already disclosed, there is a Financial Affairs Committee. The powers have been diluted by the board to them. So we have appointed a merchant banker. We are actively looking for all the options on table. And as and when we are able to proceed in terms of what will happen, we will keep you informed accordingly.
Okay, but till the time the funds are raised, if we have to raise it at somewhat current multiples, you think we'll have to postpone any of our capex plans if in case we decide to wait? Anything on those lines?
Not postpone, we will be judicious with what we invest. Sometimes some things can wait, some things cannot wait because your customer orders need immediate deployment. So we will be judicious with how we spend the capex in this year. We have always been judicious, but now, of course, we will try to do prioritizing what is immediate, what can wait for a few months, just to be aligned better. This year could have been better, so of course those things should have been taken care. But nevertheless, we will not delay any growth because of funds issue. That is clear.
Okay, that's heartening to know. And secondly, since now we are focusing more on the domestic side, so earlier my understanding about the business was that because we were taking the inventory on our books and offering a pretty good deal to the customer sitting in Europe, we used to charge pretty high margins. But now, uh, with us focusing on the domestic business, do we think that our margins may moderate a bit going forward with increasing sales to OEMs like TVS?
I'll answer you. First of all, I will not say that we are increasing our focus on domestic sales. Domestic sale was always our focus area, and export sale is also always our focus area, and our focus will always remain on both the sectors. But coming back to your margins and all, as we already explained, even in domestic business, we are not targeting to enter into the mass market into the two-wheeler segment. In two-wheeler segment, we will be there only into premium segment. Like in domestic, as we already explained, Aprilia means Piaggio has launched Aprilia brand in India. It's a 450cc motorbike. So we are supplying to them. So pricing of this Aprilia, whether it's a coincidence, we are supplying to Aprilia India also. We are supplying to Aprilia Italy also. And pricing of both the product same. Exactly the same. Only thing is, yes, of course, for Italy, they are adding additional transportation cost. So technically, whether in India or exports, our pricing always remains the same. But yes, in India, this is an advantage that our return cycle means the recovery payment cycles are much faster. So technically, we got a bit added advantage. Sometimes out of that, we a little bit share with our customers also. But generally, we will be not eating up, means we will not be compromising with our margins in a large scale. But yes, we have to stay competitive within India also. We can't dictate our pricing. We have to stay competitive, but healthy. We don't want to cut our profitability to grab business.
So, sir, to that extent, should we expect that margin from FY'26 onwards will revert back to those 21, 20 to 23% odd levels?
We are still 22%, sir.
Our EBITDA margins are still
always, even now it's I think 22%.
Yes. We always maintain we will want to operate within 20 to 25% margin. 25 is exceptional, 20 is okay. It will.
So we will maintain within the same range.
On the lighter side, beyond 25, customer will always wish to go more than 25, but beyond 25, customer will not give, and less than 20 will not accept. I'll say like this.
That's heartening to know, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, Neha, I think we already said.
We can now close the meeting.
Yeah, yes.
On behalf of the management, I would like to sincerely thank all the participants for joining and engaging with us today. Your participation is greatly appreciated. I would also like to extend a special note of gratitude to the management team for their thorough and patient responses to all the questions raised during the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neha.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Neha.
Leave the one.